Alright, so today I was actually going to talk about kind of a random video, but about some certain life experiences, okay, that some people might go through that maybe you'll get some advice from it, okay? So, I got one of my homies up there. He's like, what you doing? So, certain life experiences, okay? Ones that you'll cross in life that you will need to know how to deal with, okay? One is that I want to start out with is when people gossip about you, okay? So when people gossip about you and they talk bad about you, or somebody spreads a rumor about you, how do you deal with that, okay? The person's going to avoid you or blame you, or just they'll avoid you altogether, okay? And that's when you find out. Sometimes you don't even find out that there was rumors spread about you. You don't even know. You'll find out like 5 years later, somebody tells you about it and you're like, what? Like, you don't really understand what's going on. People, it's inevitable that somebody will spread a rumor about you. This is something, some people might be able to dodge this, but I just, at one extent or another, you got somebody who's running their mouth. They shouldn't be running their mouth, and they end up, biting the bullet, and they end up going down the pipe with their own reputation for it, okay? So when you have a rumor spread about you, you need to handle it in the most wise way you can possibly handle it, okay? What's the wise way to handle it? Well, a lot of times people don't even tell you about it, okay? So the way you live your life will show people what the truth is, okay? So if somebody spreads a rumor about you, it's really messed up, okay? So say they spread some screwed up stuff about you, but what people see about you is you seem to live this very straight path, okay? And if you live, if you fail tests and you go through certain things in life, people will question, especially if they see you fail that test, they will question if that's true or not, okay? So the more you pass God's tests in life that other people see, the more people are going to side with you against rumors, okay? And I realize this. And a lot of things is you can pass tests too, and people can be so out in the dark that they don't see nothing. They're just blinded by the light when you come by them. So sometimes people, they just can't help it but attack you, okay? So when you're in the light, you'll get attacked. When you're in the light, you get attacked. And at first you're going to question why it happens. After it happens enough and you learn how to deal with it, it just becomes normal for you. When people see that you've been attacked a lot of people, they take pride in not attacking you, but shaking with you on a straight shake. And I've noticed this with certain people, that certain people will not talk bad about you because they've seen other people talk bad about you, and the rumors turned out not to be true, and there was a full circle, and it wrecked the other person's reputation, and they're not willing to do that to themselves. So they learned a lesson from somebody else. So how did I deal with that? Okay, I had a lot of rumors that were spread about me and gossip about me years ago. Okay, I ignored a lot of it. Okay, I focused on God. I focused on what I was going to do. And the thing is, it's inevitably going to make you angry when you hear it, until you've gone through it enough times, and you just kind of dampen out all the rumors and everything around you, okay? So I don't even acknowledge, if somebody says, oh yeah, this so-and-so said something about me, I'm just like, I don't even know who that is. Like, even if I know you and I found out that you spread a rumor about me, I'm going to deny that I even know you. I'll deny that I even know you. You're not close to me, you're not my homie, you're not my bro, you're not my girl, you're nothing, no. So if you spread a rumor about me, I don't even know who you are. Even if I've known you and I've had conversations with you, I don't even know who you are. So that's how I deal with it. I really don't even know who they are. And what that comes down to is, people can say, well, you've been hanging out with them and this and that. And I'm like, well, based upon what you told me, obviously I really didn't know who they were. So if I put an arm of trust out to you and you go and you gossip about me, it's one of those things where I just treat it that way. Like, you're completely irrelevant to my path in my life. That, oh, okay, you said this about me, and okay, if you go and confront the person, that's okay. They may deny it, this and that. Some people will actually tell you this person spread a rumor about you and it's actually them that did it. So you find out the truth, eventually. People will tell you, oh yeah, this person said this person said this, whatever. A gossip betrays a confidence, okay? That's in the Bible. So you need to understand that when a gossip betrays a confidence, what happens? Well, you have no confidence in that person. You have no confidence, no trust in that person at all. So that's out the window, okay? You learn from it. Put them on the X list. You're not not the check mark list, X list. Like, we're not messing with these people because, you know, you wouldn't spread a rumor about me. You know, you're kind of dumb. So why would you do something dumb? Like, because I wanted the attention. And it's like, well, that was pretty stupid because you just made yourself out to look like a damn fool. Nobody wants to be around you because they're afraid you're going to go do the same thing to them. So, easy. Handling gossip is easy. Gossip, it's like people will come to me, oh, I heard this. I'm like, well, maybe you're not focused on yourself and your wisdom as much as you're listening to other people, because that sounds pretty stupid. So if people will spread rumors about you that you're like, what? Like, I've never, like, there's certain things you will hear about yourself through people that don't like you. You always have haters when you start walking the light. You will see that the dark will, you know, throw soda cans and, you know, bananas at you or whatever's fruit and whatever, like you're upstage, man. Like, they throw crap at you, throw rocks at you, man, when you're in the light. A lot of people can't stand it, and it's like, well, and they don't understand it until they actually walk in the light themselves. I'm like, man, that was, you know, I shouldn't have done that. That was pretty stupid, you know what I mean? So, and I mean, everybody goes through that. Everybody looks like a damn fool when that happens, okay? Another life experience, okay, that I want to talk about is when somebody steals something from you. Okay, so I'm gonna go for the real life a real life example that I went through actually today. Okay, so I'm smoking a Garcia Vega cigar today. I bought a pack of Swishers yesterday, and I went and did a job this morning. As you can tell, my hands are all black. I'm all sliced up, man. Like, I've been pretty beat today. Well, I did this job, and somebody kiped my my Swisher pack out of my car while I was working, and there was only a few people that were around my truck at that time. Somebody reached in the truck, somebody grabbed my other 4 cigars that were in here, and took off with it. Okay, so you need to understand how God works in these situations. Okay, so the way God will work in these situations, you don't need to go and take revenge on somebody that stole from you. Okay, so you look at the book of Numbers, and the book of Numbers says that the person must pay you back, but plus 20%. Okay, and it could be that person does pay you back, and, you know, here's your pack of Swishers, or I'm not going to use cigars as an example, but here, say they stole $5 from you. How much a pack of Swishers costs? So they stole $5 from you. They have to give you $5 plus 20%. If they don't give it to you, they will have it taken from them at some point, and it will come from somebody else around you. Could be a random thing. So this happened to me where, this is a different example, but I already know that eventually God's going to end up paying me back. Somebody's going to tip me on a job. Something's going to happen where I end up getting $5 back or something. And I'm like, okay, I already know what's coming back to me. I'm not really worried about it. I was kind of pissed, like, for maybe like 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, like, I get it. Somebody stole my Swishers. Okay, whatever. So, I had situations where people took a lot of money from me, okay? And it's a lot of money. And I go through little situations here where say I was at Harbor Freight parking lot, like I think it was like a month ago, and then these type of things happen to me randomly in small doses. You'll notice if you had a large amount taken from you, that if you walk with God, God will repay you for what's been taken from you through other people in ways where they're not being robbed of it, of course. Where I had a situation where some guy came up to me in a parking lot in Harbor Freight, and he told me, hey dude, I need a jump start. You got cables, you know, what's going on, this and this and that. Okay, and I just gave him a jump start off a jump pack that I had in the back, and his multimeter, his battery, and his alternator. I was in between jobs, so I was like, yeah, of course, like, I'm going inside anyway. So I jump started his car, and I went back over to my car, which he was way out in the parking lot. I was in front of the store, so I started working. I just jumped him. I'm like, all right, man, good luck. Get yourself a battery, because that thing's, you know, it's done. It's dead. So he's taken off and everything, and he spins the parking lot, and he stops, and he gets out of his car, and he walks up to me, and he hands me $20. And he's like, hey, man, this is for the jump start, this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I handed him a business card after that, okay, that was like, hey, you know, I'm a mobile guy. I'm a mechanic. I can, you know, help you out if you need any help. Just let me know. And he took my card, and he ended up calling me for his Nissan, and I ended up getting a job. So aside from the $20 being given to me, it was payment. For some reason, God worked through this man to pay me, and I didn't ask him for any money. He just jump started him. Really doesn't bother me. It's what, maybe 1 out of 50 jumps on my jump pack. It really wasn't a big deal. So he paid me $20, and then he calls me later for a water pump, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know. So God will repay you in certain ways, where he will pay you back through other people and opportunities where you will get that opportunity and or cash. Sometimes like that, the $20, I was like, what the heck? And he will give you those opportunities. When it comes to the person that stole from you, they will get robbed of an opportunity. So there's a duality to it that a lot of people, they start to understand once you listen. This is just from my spiritual experience. This isn't something I've seen biblically, the book of Numbers, that type of stuff. But with what I've experienced with opportunities, I've seen where people will take something from me and they are robbed of a serious opportunity. And it's, you took a $5 pack of Swishers and you got robbed of a serious thing. So you can see where like somebody will steal something from you, and you're in the light, you're doing what you're doing, and you turn around and you notice like a month later that maybe they lost their job or something. They have something taken from them. There's some sort of, it's almost like when you steal something from somebody, it's almost like a curse of its own. Okay, like you stole something from somebody, it's technically, even at a small scale, it's considered a curse. So you need to understand that if somebody takes something from you, it has to be paid back. And if they don't willingly pay you back, it is taken from them and paid back to you through someone else. It's very strange how that works, okay? And sometimes they can get robbed of everything over, something small. I'm not saying like a $5 pack of Swisher. Well, I mean, it could be. Somebody steals, your pack of gum and then ends up getting screwed. And people, they don't think about it, man. People that are in the dark that do that stuff, they steal something, and then they lose something, and they're just like shake their fist at everybody else and this and that, and you're the wise person from the outside is looking at you like you kind of did that to yourself, dude. Like if you were awake and you were wise, you would see that a lot of people will say it's bad karma, but what I see it is you created a small curse that is a bad divine judgment on you, and it's a positive one on the other person. Not necessarily super positive like he won the freaking jackpot lottery, but maybe he ended up getting an opportunity that was really good for him, and right before all that happened, you stole his pack of gum, or you stole something from him. This used to happen to me with people I hung around that would steal my tools. And I would see it where they'd take my tools, and then I'd find out that they were homeless and something happened, or something happened in their life where they were in crisis mode. And I looked at that and I'm like, it's kind of weird, because if they're still around you, you can kind of tell who did it just based upon what the divine judgment is on the person. And sometimes you'll come around the person. There's people that will steal from you where you come around and you see what was stolen from you, and they will tell you, I went and bought that myself. Like, that's not yours. Like, I went and bought it myself, and clearly it's yours. You know what I mean? So, and sometimes you're wrong if they actually did go and buy it, themselves, but sometimes you can just tell based upon their color sometimes, and you're like, oh, dude, like, you're kind of piss yellow with me. You used to be blue. And you're like, okay, I understand it. So, when it comes to color shifts and stuff like that, I can tell when people take things from me, but here's the deal, okay? Here's the deal. Sometimes when you get a lot taken from you over your life, where you seem to come up and then people rob you or steal from you or do this, and they just constantly, like, people are constantly doing this, you'll reach this max limit where you carry this divine judgment with you, dude. That, like, somebody could do something where they lie to you, and there's maybe God has a little bit of leeway for both people in the situation. It's like, okay, water under the bridge, you lied, okay? And, well, I mean, God always has his judgment. You have to carry that weight, which is divine judgment in a way. But you have to think about it this way, okay? If you've been stolen from a lot in your life, and you reach like age 30, and you're like, okay, I'm coming up, I'm doing really good for myself, okay? And somebody steals one thing from you, they can lose everything. They will, it's the amount of divine judgment that you carry with you is what has happened to you in your life. So don't just go stealing from people, because you don't know what they've been through, and I would fear God before anything else. So somebody could have had their inheritances, their house, they could have been robbed in a divorce, they could have been, I mean, every bad, terrible thing could happen to them. Those are people you definitely don't want to steal from, because God has his hand over them. So you take something from them, like, dude, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose everything. You'll lose everything for something stupid, okay? And for me, it's like, I'm not saying that somebody's going to, lose everything because of a pack of Swishers, okay? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, the more that's happened to you in your life like that, you carry a heavy divine judgment around that act. So if somebody has stolen from you a lot, okay, and somebody steals from you after a long list of people have done it, it's like, way to kamikaze yourself, dude. Like, and people, that's the thing, is people didn't really know what my past was. They didn't know other people were stealing tools from me. Everybody just thought it was a thing. Like, oh, you know, you're around Wolf. He's always got this and this and this. Can I borrow this? I'm like, okay, and I don't see it back. That's one way where it's like, okay, I loaned this to you and you didn't give it back to me, and one way or another I end up getting paid back for it. But that person has this like cursed pair of pliers in their hand, dude, where it's like, if you were just to return that, maybe that divine judgment wouldn't be so bad, okay? Like, that's the one thing you'll see, is that if somebody steals something from you and they think they're going to get caught, they will throw it away. And that is the dumbest decision you could ever do in your life. It is the dumbest decision. If you steal something from somebody and they're on to you and they're coming back for it and you throw it away, you're screwed. You cannot rectify that little tiny curse, even if it was a pair of pliers or it was somebody's, 24 karat gold watch that you took from them. If you throw it away and you ditch it. I had this experience with somebody where I had it was a necklace that somebody gave me, and this necklace got stolen, and it was by one person, and they knew that I knew that they had it, and they were going through all this bad, like, karma, from which they said, or bad luck, which was actually just divine judgment on them. They threw it away and things got even worse, and the thing was, they couldn't rectify it after that, not unless you're going through the landfill looking for it. Not smart. If you steal something from somebody, and say you're watching my video and you stole something from your homie or something like that, go give it back to him right away. Go give it back to him right away. Apologize to him. Dude, I took this. I don't really want the bad divine judgment from it. Like, here's 20%. I'll give you $5 on top of it. I'm sorry, dude. And if they ask you why you stole it, I made a stupid decision. I'm sorry. If it hurts our friendship, oh well. They will be able to tell when that darkness is sown between, okay? Now, you will see people. I'm going to go on the other side of the coin here, okay? I knew this dude that he would steal from everybody. I mean everybody, dude. Everybody. Everybody that was around the dude. Just hide everything you have. That was how people were, because they knew if he comes around, he catches something, even your keys on the counter, he'll take them. So people that are like kleptos that steal and they can't handle it, dude, they're in for it, homie. I'm telling you, they're in for it. You don't steal from people, and especially keep doing it. Like, it's just not wise, okay? It's not wise to go out and just start stealing from people. If you want something, go out and get it, okay? Go work for it. Do what you have to do. If you really want it that bad, dude, you can probably sacrifice $5 for a pack of swishers or a pair of pliers. Like, it's really not a big deal, okay? So, regardless, okay? You will see certain people in your life, okay? So in your life path, you will cross paths with at least one person where you can see it on them that they steal carelessly from people, okay? When you have the thief that is careless, that's even worse, okay? Most thieves are careless, but you see it and you're like, dude, like avoid them, okay? Avoid them. You don't want to get sucked into that divine judgment and be on the outside of that full circle. You don't want to catch heat for that, okay? A best friend, and that best friend has a problem with stealing from people, get away from him, dude. Get away from him. Now, it's like, you see people out here that do things that you can't recover from, okay? And that's one of them. You know what's crazy? If you end up being good friends with that person that's a thief, or you're around them, chances are you're going to get stolen from too. So you see that person, you guard everything around you, and you make sure you keep an eye on them, okay? You just make sure you keep an eye on them. If you see them steal something, go tell the person who they stole from, hey, they took your pliers, they took this. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then you don't want to get sucked in that divine judgment. So just knowing about it, you can have a divine judgment for not saying something about it. And some people could say, oh, you're being a rat, you're being this, you're being that. Realistically, okay, this dude, I'm not even involved with this, but I don't want to get sucked into it. Like, it's not my problem. I saw this. God knows I saw it. God might be testing me. So if you don't go say something, you could have your whole life ruined just because you didn't say anything about it. There's certain things where it's like, when it comes to other people's business and you might know something or a rumor, yeah, don't say anything. But when you see something like that, you will know when God's testing you. When God's putting a test in front of you going, are you going to choose your morality or are you going to choose your friendship with the thief? People who steal stuff are really not, they're not trustworthy, they're not wise. You don't want them in your circle, okay? You want people that will give honest shakes with you, not people that are going to weave around you and do all this stuff, because generally they're probably going to go around and gossip about you too. People that steal and people that gossip seem to have this, like, there's certain people that have these intertwined things with stealing and gossip that I've seen in my life, where the person that's out there running their mouth is also taking stuff from people left and right, okay? So you don't want to be jacking stuff. Go earn it yourself. You need to, if you earn it yourself, you're a clean, if you earn a clean come up, you don't owe anything to anybody. If you have a dirty come up, you owe a lot to everybody, and God will take it from you and give it back to them. So, what other issues or experiences in life can you experience and how to handle them? Well, when you get stolen from, confront the person about it, see if you can get it back. And I've actually seen this where somebody will steal something from you, and one of your good friends or somebody will steal it from them and give it back to you. I have seen that before, where God will work through the person and they take that pair of pliers and throw it right in your truck. These are yours, man. And you're just like, whoa, like that was weird how that happened, but it does, okay? What other experiences in life can we go through that we can learn how to deal with when we have wisdom, okay? When somebody cheats on you, okay? When somebody cheats on you, your immediate reaction, if you're a fool, is to get angry, okay? The wisest decision you can make is wish them well and walk away and start doing something else. So if you're dating somebody and they cheat, if you catch them cheating, just, hey, like, I wish you well, like, see you later. Like, you don't even get angry about it. You just, hey, I wish you well, see you later. And a lot of people have problems with anger because they're emotionally attached to the person, okay? Being wise is to know how to emotionally detach from somebody when that happens, okay? So when somebody cheats on you, you automatically see them as like, okay, you were very close to me, this is probably going to hurt me, but I'm going to go suffer in silence and work on myself and heal. So you immediately leave them and just, I really wish you well. I wish the best for you. So you're not going to say, oh yeah, see you later. You're basically like, I don't really want to talk to you ever again. Like, I'm pretty heated, I need to heal, and I don't really hang around people that do that. So you figure out how to handle it, okay? Infidelity, when that pops up, it is one of the hardest things to deal with, and you will see in the Bible that it talks about if you sleep with another man's wife, that the husband will be basically relentless on you. Like, you can't pay him off, you can't, like, his anger is right on you. So you need to understand that, okay, that happens. People will be angry. They're not going to favor you. Oh, you slept with my wife, like, hey, I like that guy. It just, it doesn't happen, okay? So human emotion is something that happens as a reaction from certain situations. Like, people are going to resent you. They can forgive you and still have a sour taste in their mouth. They may not hate you. Over time, they may let go of the hate, but they are still relentlessly sour towards you. Like, I forgive you, but dude, you know, like, wow. So you'll see that with people, you know, that certain things happen, and some people can come together over it and long term be like, well, that sucked, but we learned from it. And maybe that person took revenge, so both of them actually came together and had a straight shake later, and yeah, that was pretty stupid. Why did we both do that? So life situations can play out different ways, okay? So you need to see with infidelity, okay? And if I flip the coin and I were to say, if you cheated on somebody, you need to tell them. If you don't tell them, it will eat you alive and it will curse your relationship until it finally ends. And it will probably end because of that one act that you did, or you'll end up thinking it's okay to do it again, and you'll go do it again and you'll get caught. To commit adultery really isn't smart, okay? If you're wanting to sleep with other people and you're in a relationship and you're just with a girlfriend, you're not married, maybe you should just tell them, I kind of want to see this person and date them. So you step back from the relationship. So before you even make any advancements on that person, and say like, say you guys exchanged phone numbers, but you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, okay? Maybe you should talk to your girlfriend or boyfriend and let them know, I'm going to step back out of this relationship because this person wants to date and I'm interested in them. And I mean, some people might actually see that and go, wow, that was a foolish decision that I made. Well, you need to weigh your decision. Is it wise to do that? Are you happy and content with what you have? Is this what you want long term? Is this a good partner? If it is, then maybe you shouldn't really be doing that. and then maybe you're being swayed by temptation and being tested. So life is full of these different crossroads, and situations have wise and foolish decisions, and they also have temptations and tests. So you need to see that way, okay? So say your girlfriend really doesn't value you, or your boyfriend doesn't value you. They're not very helpful. They put you down all the time. They don't really seem like they're a very good partner. And don't make excuses for that and call them that when they really aren't, okay? When you have somebody that's at home making dinner for you and is, supporting you while you're working, maybe you shouldn't be taking the number from the girl and going out with her on the side when she doesn't know. You should just tell her, like, hey, I'm going to date this person, okay? And I'm going to step back from the relationship. I'm not sure if this is really what I want. To be wise is to be authentic in the situation, where you're authentic, like, hey, maybe I need to take a step back and see what I want. And life is hard. You have decisions that come your way where you're like, I don't know if I should do this or not. And some people will hang on to say somebody didn't do it and they told them I'm in a relationship and I don't really want to leave the relationship. Some people have this thing in their mind where they will constantly regret and just say that was the one that got away. And I don't really think that's a way to think of things, okay? People don't really get away from you. That sounds like you're like Wile E. Coyote chasing down Roadrunner, and you eventually got Roadrunner, and then you kind of let her go. And then you're like, Roadrunner got away. Like, that was the one that got away. It's kind of creepy to me, where people are like, see it as in this like sad romantic type of thing, like he or she was the one that got away. And I'm like, that's kind of oddly predatory. It's kind of weird to me personally when I see that. So I'm like, got away from you? Why? Like, maybe they got away because you were predatory and weird, or maybe you have this. Maybe it's just a thing that humanity has. I don't really understand, but I don't really. Here's something, okay? I used to have a woman that I never dated, but I always had hard, strong feelings for her. But I never thought that she was really the one that got away. It was more of like, it was this missed opportunity that I was like, man, that sucked. But maybe it happened for a reason, because she was going to treat me like total crap because I had feelings for her, and she didn't have feelings for me. So I never made an advancement. I just lived my life and played my boundaries, and I was just a good man. So you have to see how situations can affect you, okay? If you tell that woman, like, hey, or that man, hey, I want to step back and I want to date, and I want to date this other person, and then they try to come back to you, that person may have moved on already and said, screw it, I'm going to go date somebody else too, and they found somebody, and now you're like, oh crap, I can't have that situation back. I took it for granted because I did that. You need to choose if it's a temptation or if it's not. And when it's like you have a girlfriend, okay? When it's like you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're not necessarily married, okay? So you did not sign a divine contract before God, so technically you're still in a dating phase, okay? That's how I see it. You're in a dating phase, but you have one step into a relationship, and if you go back into full dating phase, you need to take that 1 foot out of the relationship. It's just a wise thing to do. Why? Well, maybe if you go separate ways from that person, okay, and they go somewhere else, and they they move on, they will look back at you and they will respect you for making that decision instead of going off and cheating on them, okay? Well, they may think you cheated and kind of be in their own head about it, but generally, if I were to tell a woman, like, hey, like, I need to step out of this, and I kind of have somebody else that really wants to date me, I want to get to know them, that woman would probably respect me a lot more than if I cheated on her and lied to her for 6 months to a year about it, and then finally left her and I monkey branched, okay? You can't just do that with a marriage. You can't just, be like, hey, I want to get divorced today so I can go date this girl over here. When you get married, you sign a divine contract that is not a possibility for you anymore. Not unless adultery is committed within the relationship, and then you guys have an official divorce. That's the way I see it. I don't know if God agrees or disagrees with it, but I think that he would. In the Bible, it says that the one reason for divorce is adultery, okay? So that's kind of why I go by those lines where I'm like, okay, I think God approves of that, and here. So I kind of walk by these lines where I'm like, I don't really want to. And okay, maybe God wouldn't have a problem if you were dating somebody and you had a girlfriend and then you decided to date somebody else and then tell her about it. Maybe God wouldn't have a problem with that, but I see it as, if you are as authentic as possible, you walk as straight as possible. So say you went and dated that girl, and then you decided to stay in your relationship, okay? You don't have that thing in your back of your mind where you're like, oh, I don't want this person to find out that I went and dated this girl for a week. It's easier because she knows about it, and if you get back together with her and things are cool, okay, you know about it. You may get kind of insecure about it, which is okay. I mean, we'll work on that. You can work on that. I'll work on that by reassuring you that, I didn't know what I wanted, and I just decided to go and get to know somebody. And well, it generally makes them feel a little bit uneasy about you because you could just go and do that again. So you have to kind of understand exactly how things work. When it comes down to love and relationships, it is very, very difficult to navigate. But what I will say is being as authentic as you possibly can with somebody will lead to the best results, okay? And you could have it where you're authentic with somebody and they're so immature and off the chain and controlling and narcissistic that they will try and destroy your life because you step back and you wanted to. If you're dating a narcissist, just get out of there, dude. Like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not saying go and cheat on the narcissist with every single person you can, because that means that everybody's going to label everybody as a narcissist and think that cheating's okay. It's not okay. Even if it's a narcissist, and I'm in a relationship with like a narcissistic woman, okay? Before I step back and go and date that other person, I'm going to put checkmate A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P in check, so that if you try and do something to me, like, there's this laundry list right here that I don't even have to return fire. Like, I have you pinned if you do something stupid to me. If you try to act like a fool and try and destroy my life like you did the last guy, you're going to get wrecked, okay? And I do that out of self-preservation. That doesn't mean that I do, okay? No, it's not something I do, but it's there. And a lot of times with a narcissistic person, I'm not going to tell you it's there, but it's there. I have taken inventory of you, okay? If I know something about you that other people have told me, I will keep a mental mark of it and a mental check of it, but I'm not going to tell you that I know. And I think that's important. You don't just go up to somebody, oh yeah, I know this about you. Like, no, I know all this about you. I have this. Doesn't mean I'm going to go spread rumors about you. And if basically what it comes down to is if you're dating a narcissist and you are walking in the light, they're going to avoid you anyway. So you're generally not really going to. And people always say there's the narcissist and there's the empath. Okay, I don't really think. You can have somebody that's empathic in the dark, and you can have somebody that's narcissistic in the dark, okay? That's kind of the way I see it, okay? Very rarely do you see a narcissist that's in the light and is true to themselves, because they always have a delusion of their own life, okay? They have delusions of this and this and that. So let's move on, okay? Breakups and dating, okay. Narcissist relationships, okay? What's the wisest thing to do when you're faced with a narcissist? Well, you know your enemy, okay? So narcissists will see kind of everybody as an enemy. They see everybody as a potential enemy because they've generally betrayed a heck of a lot of people in their life, okay? That's the way it is. And I don't understand the disorder because I don't have it, but I understand that people with NPD, they see it at first as though they're not doing anything wrong. They're just using people and they're acting in certain ways that are really unhealthy, and they're ruining people's lives, okay? And people, they will sniff people out. So if you are in the light and you're wise, you're empathic, empath, narcissist, okay, I don't even know if I should be touching on that because that's just something that other people have really covered, okay? If you're faced with a narcissistic individual and you are wise or you're getting wise, your best option is to protect yourself and put as many chess pieces in place and continue to walk in the light. So, for example, if you have a narcissistic person that, say you're dating and they're abusive and they're a drinker, why don't you start recording some of those, arguments when they're screaming at you at the top of their lungs and document it so that, when you do leave and say I'm going to go and date somebody else, when they go to flip on you, you can just say I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And that does not mean that I'm out here recording everybody, okay? It means that if you're in a serious situation where somebody has put you in a dangerous dynamic, document it, okay? If you're leaving a narcissistic relationship, you need to plan your exfil, okay? And that's really weird, but you need to plan your exfil. And what I mean by that is you need to make sure that the narcissist is not draining you anymore. They will take your money, they will use you up, they will take money, sex, whatever they can from you, energy. They're just vampires. They will suck your life dry and then walk away, and then God will eventually, they run from daylight. So when you see a narcissist that avoids the people from the light, they do this because they know they screwed this person over in the dark over there, and that they want to stay as far away from a wise person as possible. A narcissist who hasn't really done that much damage in their life, so say they have NPD, but they haven't really destroyed somebody's life or done something terrible to somebody, generally they'll come to you in the light and they'll just kind of, sometimes they'll lash out at you and be like, "Rah!" and they'll freak out, and you're like, okay, like, I don't really understand why you did that, but it was kind of embarrassing for you. You kind of crapped your pants right in front of me, and it was really weird. So they generally, people who have NPD will stay away from you if you are wise and you are in the Word of God. They will stay away from you, okay? And the weird part is that they trust you. A person with narcissistic personality disorder, they will trust you if you're from, so say like I get called for an alternator on like a, I don't know, like a Honda Accord, okay? I'm just using an example. And this person's a narcissist. They will trust you because they can see that you are from the light, that you're not, they can sniff out when you're lying to them. So a narcissist can sniff out their own game pretty easy. So they'll know when you're lying to them. So if you're just completely straight game with them, they may just straight shake with you and they're like, I'm a narcissist, but that guy's extremely dangerous. And that's just kind of how they are. It's true, okay? And so for me, it's like, I don't really judge anybody. Like if you have NPD, like I'm sorry, like it sucks. Some people tell me I'm on medication, I'm on therapy for it. That's great. Read the Bible. Get as much wisdom as you can. I don't know if that's like a cure for NPD, is to get wisdom. But some people say that it's something to do with I think like gray brain matter. I have looked it up a little bit, but I generally see it as wicked versus wise. Okay, so when you see somebody that's narcissistic, you can see that they have a lot of wickedness to them. Okay, and they think the world is all about them, that they're the center of the world. That's not true, dude. So you need to understand, when you get wise and you're in the light, you will see definitely that the world does not revolve around you. You're just here. You're just here. The more you try and manipulate the rubber band of reality in the dark, it will snap back on you and wreck you, dude. So you'll see a narcissist go ruin somebody's life, and then you will see somehow, some way that their life gets turned into complete turmoil, even if it takes 10 years. You'll see their kids want nothing to do with them. You'll see their family is sick and tired of it. They burn people and resources. They run through resources, they burn people. It's very strange how that works, okay? So the narcissist situation, avoid them, okay? You need to learn how to spot somebody who has high narcissistic tendencies, okay? And how do you do that? Well, dude, if I'm in a room with like 50 people, I can point out which people are probably more prone to being narcissistic. You can see it based upon how they act, the facade and persona they put up. They put up a persona for people. So when you're hanging out with me, dude, you're getting what you're getting. I'm just a red dude. Like, I'll speak to you real. I'm just here, dog. Like, I'm literally just here. I ain't not the center of attention. I don't want the center of attention. If I go to a barbecue, I'll see some people that are all wild with their arms in the air telling stories and this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, cool, like, that's all right, I'm going to go eat some burgers and stuff. I'm here for food. See you guys later. Like, I'm just kind of there, you know what I mean? Like, so you'll see, you can see a narcissist very clearly when you're in the light, and they can see you very clearly. What they do with empaths and people around them in the dark is they feel them out for how submissive are you to my manipulative behavior and personality, and based upon that they adapt to the situation to get what they want. With somebody from the light, they see you and go, I can't get anything from this guy or woman. I cannot get anything from this person. And they know it just based on how they see you, where they will try and do a couple things maybe where they'll come up and, oh yeah, like for me, I've had some people that come up and like, I don't have much money, but my starter's out in my car, and it's like buried in there next to, a steering column and all this. It takes 5.5 hours to get it out, and they're trying to get you to do it for free, and you're like, nah, homie, like we're not playing that, okay? If I was doing volunteer work, okay, but it's like, they will do certain things. I have had a narcissistic woman come to me before and try and persuade me into a romantic dynamic with their words, when I've seen right through them, and I did not reject them. I just kind of looked at them, and they turned around and went somewhere else and did it to somebody else, and they were successful, somebody in the dark. When you're in the light, the games don't work. They might test you once, but they will see right after. Like, you will not, Like this dude, he's in the light. Like you can't feel out this situation without getting burned. That's what it is. They get lit up. So they know it's like people around them. If there's people around them and they try and play your game, feel you out and do this and this and that, they know they'll get burned and look stupid, and they know that everybody around them is going to see it and be awakened to it. So they avoid you. Sometimes if you're sitting in one place with two wise people, no way, dude. You got two people with wisdom that are chilling in this truck right here, and you're at a party or a function, and everybody pulls up, everybody's doing barbecue, they will avoid you, dude. You'll have people come around you and love being around you. Some people don't because they don't like it that you're wise, which is very strange, okay? But a lot of people come to you for advice. So that's where you see like the wise uncle in the family, okay? Or you see like that dude in the family where everybody goes to him for advice. They're like, man, I'm having problems at work. But they know he's not going to go off and tell anybody. Some families don't have that, but a lot of families do, where they're like, something's wrong. I'm going to call my brother. Or I'm going to call my dad. I'm going to call my mom. I'm going to call somebody that's got so much wisdom that they just operate like that. So there's families that come up like that where they know there's one person, maybe more people in the family, that they can trust to come to for their problems, and they will give them an answer. A lot of times people don't like the answer too, but when they're faced with that wise person, they'll understand that answer that bothers them is the correct answer generally to go with, or they're sent direction. If you come to me for advice, I'm going to probably point to the Bible to you and point exactly where I kind of think that you should be. But I'm not going to limit that and say that you should be reading this, this, and this, and this, and this, okay? So I will give you direction, but I will also give you a broader perspective of what you need to grasp. So I don't mind giving people advice, okay? Well, and if they want to vent to me, okay, but if you give me advice, your situation, here's the deal. If somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you know, I need advice, I'm having trouble at work, this is what's going on, my boss is this and this and this, I ain't going to go tell nobody. It's not my business to tell anybody. You talk to me about it, okay, that's fine. But it's disrespectful as a mofo to be walking around telling people other people's business. So if you confide in me and you seek advice, like, yeah, like, I take pride in not telling anybody anything. If somebody's enemy were to come to me and just be like, you know, what happened? You know, what's he talking to you about? I'd just be like, you need to get gone, homie. Like, if you're seeking information from somebody that I gave advice, like, you can get stepping. That's where I see it. It's like you're pulling up on me with the wrong intent here. You're like you're gonna get yourself chewed out for it. So I don't mess around with that. So I play with God. You know, I play in the light, and that's it. So I ain't gonna do something dark and just be like, oh yeah, he told me this and this. Like, we ain't playing that stuff. We ain't playing it. Okay, we're just not playing it. We can't do that. Why? Well, because then the person that I told don't trust me, and nobody else trusts me. So people see me as this trustworthy person that you can tell something to. That I'm having this problem and I don't know how to solve it. I don't know where to go from here. I'm stuck. I'm in crisis. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and these are the verses you should read to get wisdom on the situation, and you should branch out from there to figure out what's going on. I've had some people that have come to me and said, I got a number from a girl, but I have a girlfriend, but I want to date this girl. And I'm like, well, maybe it's a temptation. Maybe it's a test and temptation. You need to rip up that phone number and throw it away and just, hey, missed opportunity. Oh, well, like, and maybe you were dodging a bullet. Could be. You don't know. So to teach people wise decisions and advice, the person in that family or group unit has a lot of responsibility on them and has to walk by a certain morale in order to maintain that title that is not necessarily just a title that's given to you, it's just apparent. People just know they can come to you. You turn against that code, people aren't coming to you. Yeah, Uncle Dan went and told all the dirty secrets of this person. All they wanted was advice or to vent to you. You need to understand that. So if you're somebody in your family that gives advice to other people, you don't spread their problems to other people's ears. You keep it to yourself. And if somebody asks you or the situation comes up, I don't even know. You know, but I don't know. It's either not my business or I have no idea. There's people that will tell me something and then I'll just tell them, like, hey, like, tomorrow, like, I never heard any of this. It's not relevant to my life. So for my life, I'm in my lane. So if you're in your lane and you're like, hey, I need some advice with this, I'll give you some advice, but I'm not crossing into your lane by telling everybody what your business is. Okay, I ain't crossing your lane. I've got my own lane. I've got my own chair, my own lane. Back up. Like, I'm not playing that, okay? So that's advice for people that give advice, or the people that want to be that glue for a family unit. You need to be able to operate by a certain code, okay? When you operate by a certain code, people around you may be at a get-together, know that you know little things about them, but you're not going to say anything. You're just there for the food, man. Here, chill, and you need some advice, come talk to me. It's as simple as that, okay? It's as simple as that. Other situations in life, okay? How do you deal with somebody that has an outburst of anger towards you, okay? This is a difficult situation because you can have people that are complete fools that have no control of their anger, and they will unleash on you, okay, over the stupidest things. How do you deal with somebody that has uncontrollable anger that comes at you? Remove yourself from the situation. If somebody gets angry at you for something that is unwarranted and it's their own problem, just walk away. Like, you don't even have to say anything, just walk away. Just, like, if somebody outbursts on me, is like, and freaks out on me, like, see you later. Like, I don't have the energy to argue with you because of your own anger problem. To be angry is to be a fool, okay? Like, arguing with a fool is the most foolish thing you can do. So, yes, I'm going to walk away. If you start yelling at me and freaking out on me, I'm just, dog, I got like 50 things on my list right now I got to do. Like, I got brakes, I got CV axles, I got valve cover gaskets, I got spark plugs to do. Like, I am so freaking busy, man. I don't have time to argue with you. If you come at me with a more wise state of mind, I'm probably going to make time for you and enjoy myself, okay? So if you come at me wise, one thing I can't stand is when people come around me and they start gossiping about other people. I just, don't even tell me. Don't even tell me. People start talking about Martha and how, you know, her pancakes suck and they're runny and messed up. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care that this person cheated on this person. I don't care. Stop. Like, just, I'll stop you right there and just be like, stop gossiping. Just get out of my car, or just get away from me, dude. Like, if you're gossiping, get away. Go gossip about me and watch your life fall apart, because I'm that dude that will not say a word and let God deal with it all. And when you don't take revenge, God will deal with it all, and He'll show you how it plays out every single time. So when you walk like that, you're a dangerous person for a fool. But if a fool knows how to navigate around you to get wiser, then it's a good thing, because you teach them how to tip their scale to be a little more wise than foolish, and they walk away with something in their mind where they're like, okay, remember what Wolf said, or I need to read these verses that, you know, in the Bible. I need to read Genesis like Wolf told me. I need to understand the snake and the stick. I need to understand these things. So once you talk to people like that, and you can see, when you see that somebody has acted foolish but they're not trapped in a cycle of foolishness, you can help them in a certain way. Some fools you can't help. Some people will be so foolish that you cannot help them. Everybody's wise, everybody's foolish. Some people are completely foolish because they refuse wisdom. They refuse correction. And you just see them and you're like, you're kind of dead. Like, you're walking around like, oh, like Frankenstein, like freaking out. Like, it's, if you get wisdom, fearing God is the wisest thing you can do in your life, okay? So fearing God is extremely wise. Controlling your anger is extremely wise. Seeking advice from somebody that is the correct person to seek advice from is wise. You don't go and seek advice from a narcissist because they're going to go turn around and tell everybody your dirty secret that you just told them. It's not even a dirty secret. It's, well, I took my dad's $100 from his underwear drawer, and then the whole neighborhood knows because this dude just went and told everybody. You need to be selective by who you seek advice from, because if you seek advice from a fool that refuses correction and refuses wisdom and makes foolish decisions themselves, and you follow that advice, 9 times out of 10 you're going to end up in a worse spot than you did, or that you were, okay? You need to make sure that if you're seeking advice, you're seeking it from the Word of God. And if you can't figure something out, seek somebody that maybe has a little more experience and has already sought wisdom. So you know this thing in the Bible that's don't try and remove the speck out of your brother's eye, remove the log out of your own first. Something like, I gotta read it first, but it's basically kind of what you need to make sure that you are awake to wisdom, and you remove all the foolishness from you before you go taking the speck out of your brother's eye. So you need to make sure that you are wise before you're trying to get somebody else wise. That's how you know who you should seek advice from. If the person you're seeking advice from has a huge log in their eye, don't do it. I don't care if they're your best friend. If they don't have wisdom, they're probably not going to give you any wisdom, okay? So, if they don't understand the Bible, they don't understand how life works, especially if they have no life experience, why are you even asking them? You're looking for somebody to confide in to make you feel better, but it's creating a liability for you and your reputation. You have to see that. So when it comes to people, you need to understand that seeking wisdom from a wise person is okay. Seeking wisdom from somebody that really doesn't have any wisdom, they're just kind of hanging out with you, probably shouldn't do that, because then you've created a liability of information where whatever you needed, to solve, or whatever problem you have in your life, pretty much everybody knows about it because they're out spreading your business to get attention from other people. It's that stupid out here, okay? It's that stupid. So you need to make sure you're not digging a hole and jumping in it by being a fool, okay? What's the most wise way to get advice? You write out your problem, you understand it, and you look in the Bible at where you can learn something and find some direction. Nobody I have seen out here does it. They will come to you, to a wise person, and ask them for advice, okay? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you were to write out your problem and what is wrong here, what I need to figure out, and then you start reading the Bible in certain places, you can even just ask a wise person that's wise in the Word, or a pastor, this is my situation, I need to know where to look, and they'll point you right to it. So you're not jumping around in the book looking through all this, New Testament, Old Testament, this and that. You need to find somebody that understands wisdom, Bible, life. Someone that understands life, okay? That understands how God works, okay? That's where you get your most accurate and effective wisdom to apply to your life, when you find somebody that's in the Word. Gossip betrays a confidence. Something you need to know in life. If you are giving advice to people in your family, or to friends, or to people, gossip betrays a confidence, and you will notice you gossip about one person about their business, and nobody trusts you after that. You walk by a code and you don't screw it up. If you screw it up, you're done. If you're feeling as though you have that authority to do that, you better have respect for your code and how you walk. And let's talk about authority, okay? That's the same thing with the log and the speck. You do not have authority to be giving people advice on or wisdom if you don't have wisdom yourself. To have wisdom is to have the authority, okay? God gives you the authority when you end up sowing good seed. When you're rid of bad seeds in your life, bad seeds in your mind, you start to gain that authority where you're like, I can give this person advice. The authority comes with the wisdom. Something you need to see. And that's where taking that log out of your own eye is so important. Taking that log out is where you have gained the authority to do it. And some people would say, well, you don't have the authority. Well, then go read the Bible. Why are you asking anybody? If you don't think anybody has authority to give you advice on certain things, don't seek it. Seek the Bible and figure it out yourself. Pretty straightforward. Take the own log out of your eye. Don't have somebody else take the speck out of it. Which generally, if you go to a wise person and you're trying to get wisdom, you're trying to get advice on a certain situation, you should be trying to gain wisdom yourself, okay? So the log and the speck, it goes hand in hand, okay? If you're trying to remove the own log out of your eye and someone's trying to remove the speck out of your eye, it works a lot easier. There's a participation aspect to it, where you have to participate in wisdom, not just listen to it and let it go over your head. To participate and read the Bible and read Proverbs and read all these books and understand wisdom, that is where your participation is, okay? As the person that's trying to seek advice, okay? The person that's giving advice, you best be sure you don't have a log in your eye. And everybody, to some extent, has some sort of thing they can gain, okay? So somebody that's constantly reading Proverbs and constantly reading the Bible is constantly working to remove the unknown potential log that could be in your eye that prevents you from having the authority of giving the advice. Maybe that's a good way to say it. But it's important to know that, okay, you read Proverbs once, you got some wisdom. You're not done. Wisdom, it is a continuous combing that you will learn, you will read books in the Bible and you will learn more things you didn't see before. If you, like when I wrote Footprints Volume 2, and I read Genesis the first time and I was like, well, okay, I didn't understand anything in the book. I mean, I just read it and I was like, well, all this happened. And then I read it again and I was like, okay, things make a little more sense as to why this happened, to Jacob, or why this happened here and why this happened here. And then I read it a third time and I'm like, wait a second, the Garden of Eden, it set the premise for a human archetype. And then I read it a fourth time and I'm like, the mark of Cain. And then I had, the fifth time I read it and I was like, the mark of Cain kind of feels like it kind of developed into the story of Saul in a way where this happened and this happened, and I saw this evolution of it. So you need to read more than once. You can't just read a book of the Bible one time and say, I get it. Like, you don't get it. You just read it one time. You set the foundation, but you didn't build on it. So maybe you have a little bit that you gain from it, but you probably aren't going to remember any verses from it. You may remember the stories from it, where you remember the story of Jacob and Esau. You remember the story of Abraham. You remember the stories that are in there of Joseph, okay? But you know them, but you don't understand them. Reading it more than once, reading Genesis more than once, helps you understand the guts of the story. You can know the story of, okay, Joseph got sold off to Egypt as a slave, and then the entire situation with Potiphar's wife happened, and he gets thrown into a jail and interprets dreams. And at that point, this happens to this guy, this happens to this guy, and then he gets brought before the Pharaoh to interpret a dream, okay? So and then he gets put basically as his right hand, okay? And then he predicts a famine. So you understand the story baseline. Then you go back and you understand how these stories apply to your own life. You understand how the archetypes within the story fit into humanity, and at a small scale and large scale within your own life, okay? So reading it one time, it's not going to cut it, okay? You need to read, if I were to tell you to read Genesis, I'd tell you to read it 10 times over again and just take a month to read the whole thing. A lot of people are like, I'm not doing that. It's like, well, how much do you want it? How much do you want to understand your own life and yourself? And some people are like, I really want to understand it, but I'm not really willing to do that. And it's like, well, then you don't really want to understand it. You want to understand it, and you're like, I'm all about it, but you're not. So the deeper you go, the more you understand. The more you understand God, the more you understand the story of creation, the more you understand how that bloodline played out and how things are relevant to your own life. The more you read it, the more you understand. Infinity and beyond, dude. You read the Bible, infinity and beyond, with each one, and you just keep on reading it over and over and over again, and you focus on one book at a time. I'm going to read this over and over and over again until I really freaking get it. And there's, like, in my whole thing, I told myself something. I was like, I'm not going to write a book on Exodus or anything else until I really understand Genesis. That was why I wrote Footprints Volume 2. I wrote Footprints Volume 2 because I was trying to write it all out to understand it myself. I basically went through it and it's like, I can help other people with this. Here you go. Drop a book. I did it for me, but I also did it for other people. I wrote Footprints Volume 2 as a ministry book, but the intentions of writing it were for me to understand it. So me reading the book and writing things out and figuring things out here on the laptop and on paper, that was monumental for me. It put seeds in my mind that I was like, dude, I never had any of this I didn't understand anything, okay? I had people walking around me saying like, okay, the Garden of Eden happened, and people will say like the snake is akin to the devil, and they say that the apple from the tree was psychedelic. I've heard this stuff from people. It is wrong, okay? God constructed it where the snake was placed in the garden, okay? The tree, it wasn't psychedelic, it was just a tree. It was a tree with fruit on it that he told them, don't eat from it. Why? It set the premise for the disobedience. It set the premise. The snake was the manipulative factor that set the premise for the disobedience with the apple. Those were the two things. The snake and the apple, they set the stage for the disobedience to God and the archetype to be placed within humanity. It started with Adam and Eve. That's where the snake and the stick started, okay? He started there. It carried on to Cain and Abel. Cain was told, your sin will destroy you if you give in to this temptation to just murder your brother ruthlessly because you're so angry that your sacrifice isn't acceptable, okay? What happened? The mark developed, okay? That was technically in the Bible, it's like that was kind of the first like mark of humanity, was the mark of Cain, okay? The first time that somebody was marked. But you can see it as though Adam and Eve were marked with the archetype of snake and stick, disobedience and obedience. If you are obedient to God and you understand wisdom and you walk by His commandments, you tread over serpents and snakes. You basically are just whapping them, and you're not even doing it half the time. If you don't even do it voluntarily, God's just doing it, and you're walking over them like, I'm just kind of, there's a bunch of serpents under me and snakes, but I'm basically walking over them, stepping on their skulls, and they can't really do anything about it. So it's how God works, man. You have to understand that God created humanity from His hands. He did it. Everything around you, dude, everything around you is created by God. It all goes back to Genesis in the beginning. When it comes down to how humans operate, everything we see on how humans operate, they originate from the Garden of Eden, Cain and Abel, and the flood of Noah. The flood of Noah. A flood will strike you, and without wisdom and without understanding God and understanding how creation and humanity has happened, and without understanding Jesus Christ, you're not going to be able to withstand a substantial flood in your life that was triggered by something that happened. It can be a snake bite, it could be a stick, it could be something that happened to you that triggered something really bad in your life. Maybe you bit your wife with a snake and now you're in a divorce and your whole life's in a flood. You have no wisdom and everything floated away. All your elephants, giraffes, all your animals, all your responsibilities, they floated away. You got no food and you're paddling out there with floaties on trying to make it. You're just trying to make it. And realistically, you're not going to get anywhere. You'll lose everything through the flood if you don't get wisdom. If you notice, oh, my life has been struck with a flood, I'm going through a divorce, I need to get wise, okay? If you were wise before that flood struck, it wouldn't have struck. Why did the flood happen? The flood happened because the wickedness of the land was too much. There had to be a reset. So maybe you are far too wicked and not righteous enough that all that had to go away and just get drowned out, and this little piece of you is left and you're just hanging on and you're like, I need to do something here. Sometimes people go through a flood and everything washes away and they're just floaties, man, and it takes them years. Sometimes they don't even recover. If they would have gotten the proper wisdom at any point between the last 20 years when they've been floating with floaties and slapping the water trying to do something or hang on to other people, if they would have gotten the wisdom, they would have made better choices that would have pulled them through the flood, and they would have built an ark. To build the ark in your mind is to read the Bible and read wisdom, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this, the Bible is the hammer, the Bible is the wood, the Bible is the nails. The Bible is all the resources you need to build the ark. So, say I get bit by a snake somewhere in my life, or I get married for the first time and she cheats on me and she divorces me, and I get struck into this flood where I'm like, I understand wisdom. I know what happens to the adulterous woman. I know what happens to this, this, and this. I know all of this stuff. So my decisions that I make are going to be out of wisdom and aren't going to be out of panic and foolishness. I'm going to pick a wise decision where I'm not going to, generally I'll be able to hold on to my responsibilities because I make wise decisions. I'm not a fool and angry and I want to go sleep around with everybody and I'm wasting my time going to the bar and up on dating apps and doing all this. Instead, I'm focusing. I can build this business. I can do this. I can make it through this storm intact with a roof over my head and fully secure. My animals, food, everything, okay? And what's that mean? Well, your family makes it through it too. What does that mean? Well, I mean, you make foolish decisions like that. Maybe your family doesn't want you around because you're acting a fool after something terrible happened in your life. You're acting dumb. people see it, dude. Like, hello, like, you don't think that someone around you is going to see and go, I would probably put my life together instead of going off and dating at the bar and doing this after a divorce. Because that's what they're saying in their mind, and if they're not, well, they're probably paddling out there with you. They're like, oh, we're both drowning. Like, and they might not even be in a flood. They might be in like an inch of water, and they're just sitting there paddling around. You're like, you need to do something. Build some wisdom. That flood's coming, dude. Inevitably, a flood will come your way in your life. At least one time. At least one time. So you need to make sure that you have wisdom in your mind. If you don't have wisdom in your mind, you're going to make a whole bunch of decisions. You'll be running around, jumping around, doing jumping jacks in the dark and trying to figure it all out. And you're getting nowhere. You're paddling in the water that's rising, and you're sitting on a door at best. And that door that you're sitting on is, I have good morals and I'm a good person. That's the door, okay? That's that Titanic door. You're floating out there in the Atlantic. Everybody's freezing, and I'm a good person. I'm hanging on. Like, you don't have any wisdom. You don't understand God. You don't understand how things work. You haven't reflected on your decision or what caused the flood. What caused the flood? Why was it meaningless? Why was it meaningful? You need to understand that. So you have a flood that strikes your life. You got to figure it out, dog. And if you have no wisdom, you have no ark, you best start building a fishing boat real quick, because you're going to go from a boat. It evolves. You could get a little bit of wisdom in a storm and have a fishing boat. You can comb over Genesis and Proverbs again and have a bigger boat. You could go from a fishing boat to a drift boat, and then you're headed towards an ark, and before you know it, people like T.D. Jakes and Cindy Trim and people like Jordan Peterson, okay, they have cruise ships built, man. They're sitting back like, you struck a flood in my life. I know I can make it through because I'm wise enough to understand it. Yes, it sucks. It's raining outside. I've got all these animals and responsibilities I'm taking care of, but I can handle it. I know how to handle it. I just have to obey God. I have to obey His commandments. I have to have wisdom. I have to do some self-reflection and keep maintaining the boat. You keep maintaining the boat. When you have a flood and a storm hits your life, you maintain your boat. You're constantly getting wisdom. You're constantly trying to seek the Word. Constantly trying to walk in the light, so that you have a roof over your head, so you're not floating through the storm, but you are completely drenched, and so are your animals, and so is your family, okay? It's one of those things. So you need to understand that. And there's a lot of things that I watch a lot of T.D. Jakes, and I will tell you that his interpretation of a storm, it'll empower you to do something about it. It did something for me. I went through a storm for a while. I was like, I'm floating on a door. I'm like, there's T.D. Jakes in his yacht. And I'm like, I need to build a boat, dude. And I figured out, how does he have this huge boat that everybody listens to him and is empowered, this and that? He has wisdom. He understands God. He understands the world. He understands how archetypes and how humanity affects you. When a flood strikes, a storm strikes, like, you need to stand strong through it. When you're standing strong through it, you need to get as much wisdom as you possibly can, so that you don't go and make a foolish choice. Think about it. You can build a fishing boat, make a foolish choice, and you just exploded your whole boat, and you've got an oar on a door, and you're just, oh no, floating around out there trying to make it, okay? Listen to T.D. Jakes when he talks about going through a storm. Faith will get you far. That is something that he taught me. Faith will get you far. You have faith in God, you trust God, you do right, you end up gaining wisdom, you're good. You're good. That mustard seed of faith in your mind is the most important thing you could possibly have, okay? The most important thing you can possibly have. Without that mustard seed, you're like Gumpy, just out in the ocean, floating on a tire. You have to have a mustard seed of faith, okay? You have to have faith in God, but you have to understand, what does that even mean? Some people will see that and they're like, I have to have faith in God. Well, I don't know what that means. Well, what does it mean? Maybe you need to read and then have faith in it. To have faith is to trust the Bible, is to trust God, that God will carry you through that storm. How is God going to carry you through that? Well, you have to knock on His door. That's one thing. If you don't knock on God's door, God's kind of like, well, there's a self-participation aspect. God may put His hand over you to a point where you make it through the storm because He cares about you. But God wants you to knock and go, hey, what do I need to do? How do you do that? You open the Bible and you go, oh, Proverbs. Oh, Matthew. Oh, Luke. Mark. The act of knocking is opening the book. The act of knocking is opening the book and the intention to knock. I have this problem that's going on here. Let me read this and see how it applies to my life. God is not going to fly down from heaven on a gold staircase and walk down and just tell you the answer. You have to seek. To knock is to seek. You got to understand it, okay? Well, maybe God will actually speak to you here and go, hey, you probably shouldn't do this. You listen to him and things worked out. But you need to get wisdom anyway. What would God want you to do? What would Jesus want you to do? He'd want you to get as much wisdom as possible and cling to him. There is verses in the Bible that basically say, cast your burdens onto Jesus and you will understand you will feel light as a feather. When you understand how Jesus operates, how God operates, you will understand why things happen and why things happen to you. So you know what to do from there. All the answers are in one book. To build an ark, wood, nails, hammers, saws, all of it. You figure that out, you're good. I mean, what do you have to worry about? Well, a massive wave or a storm is inevitable. You have to be prepared for that. Yes, your parents are going to die. Yes, people are going to get sick. Yes, you're going to lose your job. Yes, people are going to cheat on you. Yes, you're going to have health problems in your life. Yes, you're going to get hit with a storm. You are going to be struck with a flood. It is inevitable. People that say, I don't have storms in my life, you got to be the most delusional person. You're probably swimming underwater and dang near drowning and in denial. You have to understand, you will get struck with a flood in your life. It is inevitable. I've been struck with it. The manager of Burger King has probably been struck with it. Okay? Everybody goes through a flood. Everybody goes through a storm. Okay? The severity of what you lose in regards to what you have in your life, as in your responsibilities, as in your blessings. To maintain the boat is to maintain your blessings and your responsibilities. Say your mom dies and everybody in the family is a complete disaster, fell into depression, has had immense things. Their depression has caused them to lose everything in their life because they have indulged into habits that have screwed them. They have screwed themselves. They have made decisions that have been foolish. They didn't have an ark built, but you did. Here's the difference. If your mom dies, your family's a wreck and you know things are going to go completely sideways. If you have an ark built, there is a better chance your brother is going to be able to build his ark because you have yours built. Because he can see you're not freaking out through this whole thing. Because why? You tell him, I'm getting wisdom and I'm doing this and it's helping me get through it. So maybe your brother ends up losing a responsibility, like loses his job at work because he starts drinking because your guys' mom died, okay? And he's asking you, how are you coping with this? How are you handling this? How are you staying up? How are you dealing with this? Here's the Bible. You need to read this and you need to be able to learn something and apply it and work on yourself so that you can make it through. You've lost this already. You have a hole in the door and the door is just going straight down. You're like, crap. Like, you're going straight down, homie. So you have to, your direct circle, okay, something happens that strikes a flood. The direct circle around you that is affected has a better chance of staying afloat if you are afloat. If you have a ark already built or you're building one while that flood's rising, better chances are you'll be able to get your circle through it. The circle of devastation of the storm will be able to ride through because they see you as an example. And maybe you can take that log out of your eye and you can try and take the speck out of theirs. Till next time, Lone Wolf, peace out.